Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 7:30. Welcome to February's Parish Council meeting. First item on the agenda, 1920-149, is to receive any apologies for absence and declarations of interest.
There we go. Apologies from Sarah and Tom Rock.
Okay.
Would you like
Okay, now on your supporting docs, you've all seen the reasons for the two absentees. Are we happy that they're accepted? I propose that we accept them. Can I have a second, please?
Yeah.
And a second, all in favour? Good. That's fine, thank you much. Okay, at this point I can take comments from the members of the public. So I'll close the meeting and open to the floor for comments. Who wants to speak? Fire away, please. Who wants to speak?
Shall I start?
Yeah.
Number 154 on the agenda, the traffic group and the budget. I was disappointed to see there's still no line items in the budget for anything to do with the B1040 or traffic matters. Councillor Bates, I know, sent a letter to the Parish Council last November, also highlighting the fact there was nothing on the in the budget for that. There still isn't. I did a quick calculation based on an electoral register, and there are well over 180 villages that live right adjacent to the B1040, within feet of it. That doesn't include children, of course, being electoral registered, and doesn't include those that are affected. One road either side, places like Tide Close, people have complained about people living in Mill Hill and others. So a guesstimate is 200 to 250 people are being affected by the noise on the road. That's between a fifth and a quarter of the whole village. So I'm very surprised that that number of people being affected. There's nothing in the Parish Council budget to help us with our plans and work to alleviate that. Now I know there aren't any parish councillors that live on the road, so you're not directly affected, but I'm sure there are others there that will attest to the disturbance and disruption that occurs there. So could I please ask that something's put aside for this year to help us with that dilemma? And the second quick one is about the diffusion tubes. I know this was mentioned at the last meeting. I see the price has gone up by 50p per tube per month. As we're gathering data for a potential TRO application for the B1040, we need all the data we can get. Now we've got good baseline data up to before when the new A14 opened, so we need to continue to collect data to see any changes and obviously collect post A14 data as well for that. So could I please ask that the tubes are still funded so we can keep collecting that data, please? That's me. Thank you.
Anybody else, Lisa?
I'm here really as a resident of Potton Road, and to say that last time I attended a Parish Council meeting, it was to appeal for your support to lessen the ever-present scourge of HCVs on Potton Road, day and night, and helpfully you all agreed to that support. So Anne Goodridge, representing the Parish Council, had helpfully been working with a number of people, including myself, as part of the Hilton traffic group. And today Anne and myself and Nicola, as you all know, went to present the LHRB. And that all seemed to go well, as I'm sure Anne will report, but it does take a long-term strategic approach. So I'm really here to say that as a group I think we really need to push forward at every opportunity to progress this objective. And I understand that you're currently considering budget allocation, and I would hope that the traffic problem on Potton Road would be seen as a priority. I also understand that you hope that we can all galvanise more support for this issue, and I hope that you will take the lead in this initiative to demonstrate the importance of taking action on all relevant aspects of village life to the benefit of all residents.
Thank you.
Hi. So I came to the December meeting to raise a point around the parking situation down Church Lane, and asked it to be added to the agenda. Can't see it on there.
No, I believe we're still in the process of getting communication with HTC, because it was left that we would look to see if we could help. At the moment we haven't got anything that the council can discuss.
Okay.
So it's not forgotten about, but there's nothing that we can agree on tonight, so that's why it's not on the agenda.
So might I speak on that for a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So So what we envisage is not something that's unkeeping with the village. What we envisage is where the pathway exists already, replacing that with 2 gravel strips to give vehicular easement to the houses that live on the back of that green. And I've spoken to all the residents along there, and the majority of them would put cars on their own in their own front gardens if that was possible. I think 2 gravel, pea gravel strips would be quite in keeping with the rest of the village in terms of the other greens have got that kind of setup on them, and so that's what we're not asking for any more. We're not removing any of the green. We're just splitting the path into 2 strips rather than. Okay, so that's what we're after.
Okay, it's not an agenda item, so I need to be careful about how much I take from that. So I'll stop you there if I can. Clerk's recorded that. I can hear it typing away there. So we'll do what we can now. We've got more information, so we will do what we can to find out what HGC's thinking of. What thinking is.
Can it be added to the next meeting?
If we have something to discuss. If we have to have something to discuss and agree on. I mean, we've heard your proposal before, so we know what the problem is and the solution, but obviously it's not our land, so...
I was going to say, I don't know anything about this, but is that why we're not looking into this? It's not Parish Council land, it's HGC.
So we're in communication with HGC. So that's one for next meetings, or other meetings when we have something to discuss. Okay. Anybody else wish to say anything? Okay, fine. Okay, thank you very much. So I'll close the meeting. And go straight on to 150 to approve the minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on Monday 2nd of December 2019, some time ago. You've had the draft minutes. Are you happy with what you've seen? And can I propose that they're signed off? I'll propose that. Can I have a seconder, please? Here in seconding. All those in favour who were there? Can you confirm who?
Yes, I can't remember.
I could particularly if you do it the hard copy rather than skim through the... Okay, so those that were present who
We had Anne.
We had Anne.
Ian, Laura. You were there. Oh, and Sharon. Yes, sorry. Sharon.
Okay. So all apart from Peter, so I have to say welcome back. I'm glad to be feeling better after the faces. So I'm proposing that you sign them. Kieran second, all those in favour? Fine, thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we had a planning meeting on Wednesday the 8th of January when we discussed PEX copies, plot 1. No comment. Again, can I propose that we sign those? I need the proposal to sign it, and I need a seconder for that. If you've forgotten who was there, it was myself, Rob, Kieran and Sharon Walker, so that Sharon's seconded. And so if Kieran, you're happy to go along with it, then we'll sign it. Great. Okay, thank you much. And finally in this section we have the minutes of the extraordinary meeting which was held in the church hall, Methodist Church rather, on the 20th of January. Monday 20th of January. I wasn't actually at the meeting, but Kieran hosted it. Are you happy with the proposal signed?
I've just got one comment for thanks for updating them based on my previous comment. It mentions that we discussed that we thought the signs at either end would be not effective. I don't remember that discussion saying they wouldn't be effective. I think we just said it doesn't. The long term, it wouldn't help with the long-term goal of reaching the TRO. But I don't remember us saying that we didn't think they would be effective as a short-term measure. Does anyone else remember?
I'd have to find notes, I'm afraid.
Or was that, does anyone, I don't know how we...
I do tend to type them as I go along, based on what people are saying. So, yeah, I don't summarise.
No, I can't remember. Is it material to the decision that was made?
No, it's not, is it? Because
not
we
the
agreed that we were
resolution,
going to
not
do
for that
the...
resolution, no. It's just, I mean, it might just be for the further discussions which are on today's agenda, whether that is actually what we think or, that's my own point.
It was that they were going to be outside the village, weren't they? Outside the parish.
Yeah, that was it.
At the top and the bottom of the 1040.
Mm.
And we decided not to go for those, but we went for
We did decide not to go for them. It's just the fact that it says not effective, because I know that that's still something that the...
Well, should we change the word to was not supported?
Yeah.
And then
we can just...
so you have that because you chairman. Yeah?
So if you just, rather than retyping it,
Yeah.
just cross it out and do the appropriate and sign it.
Yeah.
So based on that, a minor amendment,
Do you want to propose it? I'll second it.
Yeah.
all in favour?
Four of us.
Who were at the meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, the five of them, yeah. So there was five, wasn't there? Rob.
Yeah,
Okay. Good, okay, thank you very much. Okay, item 192151, matters arising from last meeting, including Clerk's report information only, no discussion, decision not to be made, blah blah blah. So, over to our clerk.
Okay, the playground, the invoices for the playground have now been paid and the final instalment for the grant has been received now. The opening event was held on Sunday the 15th of December and was well attended. The LHI, Local Highways Improvement, supplementary information that was requested was submitted, the feasibility report was received, and Anne, Lisa and myself attended the meeting at Highways this morning, which was a fairly successful meeting, and we are awaiting the outcome of the decision which will be made at a CCC committee meeting on the 10th of March. The Siltex was applied to Reeves Ditch on the 7th of January. We were informed by the engineer that parishioners may notice white powder on the ground. The pond may look scummy or there may be large black blobs floating on the surface. This is totally normal and will dissipate as the Siltex does its job and the pond settles. The street lighting energy supply handover has happened, and the street lighting energy is now supplied by Opus Energy and paid by monthly direct debit. I'm just going to jump to the bottom here, where I've also added that the initial bills have now been received and there are errors on them, so I have paused the direct debit while we resolve these errors. We seem to have changed the estimated annual consumption figures, which has changed the value of the bills quite markedly. So I'm working with UK Power Networks to resolve that. We had an ivy cutting working party arranged by the Green Open Spaces Group on Saturday the 11th of January. Several volunteers came and their help was greatly appreciated. And the Green Open Spaces Group are also going to have a tree cutting session, and the tree surgeons have been instructed to carry out the agreed works. I've received correspondence from Gillian Beasley, who is the Chief Exec of Cambridgeshire County Council and Peterborough City Council, regarding Operation London Bridge. So this is the protocol in the event of death of a senior national figure. The National Association of County Officers now recommend that the information regarding this protocol should be kept on a need-to-know basis. So accordingly, I've removed the protocol in the event of a death of a senior national figure from our website. The National Association of Council Officers are now advising that councils open books of condolence earlier than had been advised previously, and they're considering revising their guidance to suggest that councils make these books available on the day of death after an appropriate gap following the announcement of the death. So once I receive that revised guidance, I will submit a revised protocol. On to litter bins. Several of the litter bins in the village weren't emptied, so that to HDC, and they have now gone emptied them. Unfortunately, the one outside the church was overflowing at one point. We've had several faulty street lights in the village, particularly Tide Close and Church Lane. They've been reported to the maintenance service, and Tide Close is now fixed. The one in Church Lane, I've had the engineer out 3 times now, and it seems to be temperamental. So I've requested that they provide me with a report on what the problem is with that particular street light. Graham and I went through the minerals and waste consultation and submitted the response, and we had the opportunity to via NAC, which is the National Association of Local Councillors, we had the opportunity to nominate a past chair to attend a royal garden party at Buckingham Palace. With his consent, Councillor Ian Stott was nominated, but unfortunately was not selected to attend this time. Another chance next year.
43 years.
The plane in the hotel as well.
Okay, done. Okay, thank you much. Right, item number 152. This was a meeting of the policy group. Regrettably, I wasn't there, so I'm going to. You okay?
Yeah,
Hand over that. These are the policies that were brought to the December meeting, but then were questioned and went back. So they.
most of them were. There's one or two which are different to that, but I'll go through them. So approve and adopt the complaints procedure. This is a new draft policy. So hopefully you've all had a chance to read it. So if we approve this, we then go on to the next one, which is to elect a committee. But let's do that first.
There was actually one before that, isn't there? Just to we started. We got to do the sentence reference, then we have to.
Oh, I beg your
Yeah, but yeah, we've got to read that bit. Yes. So is that the proposal? Is it?
Yeah, it's a proposal to
Okay.
adopt the complaint procedure.
I second that.
Okay.
Okay. All in favour?
Sharon's what?
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
To adopt the terms of reference. I propose that.
What's that? Can I second it?
Ah,
I shouldn't have really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pete seconding it.
All those in favour?
No,
Sorry.
we missed you, Peter.
Right, so the next bit is that part of that complaints procedure is to select a review panel committee which requires 5 members. So if anybody urged...
I was just going to say there, because hopefully the complaints procedure won't get used much, if at all. If we put specific names down there, it might be well out of date. We're going to have to put some specific names. It's 5 people, isn't it? So as a start, if we put down chair and vice chair, they will be universally sort of carried through, and therefore we're looking for 3 names, 3 actual names. Is that?
I'm happy to go into
Okay.
Well, I think we should put the names in now.
Okay.
And then we can always change those people.
Okay.
Come and go.
Okay.
So I still put my hand up?
Yes.
Well,
So yes, you're one.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I'm happily gone.
Okay, great.
You're chair and vice chair, so you are.
Yeah.
Well, are you happy to go on?
I'll go on it.
Okay, so
2
3
more, please.
I don't mind.
Thank you, Sharon.
This is complaints from parishioners
any
or
complaint,
anyone.
Any complaints?
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to-
Yeah.
Well done,
And it's formal
So
complaints.
who's proposing?
So
Formal.
I'll propose
in
that
writing.
the committee is made of Pete, myself, Graham, Ian and Sharon. Seconded, please.
Oh, I second that.
And all in favour?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Okay, 1920 2.4, approve and adopt the dispensation procedure.
Let's just do the interest, isn't it? Pecuniary interest and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
I'll propose it.
I'll second.
And seconds. All in favour?
So now it's done.
Okay. And these are all going to be reviewed. These are all sort of subject to review, aren't they? Because there are standard policies. They would on an annual basis. They should
Yeah,
be reviewed.
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
152.5, approve and adopt the following privacy notice.
Yeah.
I'll propose it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second it.
You got the role. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So just to remind you, these came around before.
So the
The
rest-
only change we've done is we've changed the word ensure into endeavour or aim to. So
And that covers all the rest of them, doesn't it?
pretty much apart from the last one.
So can we do a block vote?
Better not.
No?
It's not.
It has to be
It upsets the clock.
Right.
Things are changing, Peter.
Sorry, we can't have a motion covering multiple matters.
Okay.
Who did we get
Such as
to?
that.
So, general privacy notice.
Kieran's proposed and has
And
seconded.
second.
How many in favour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Approve and adopt the health and safety policy.
Ooh.
I'll propose it.
And seconding it.
Yeah.
All in favour?
So moved.
Approve and
Hang
adopt.
on, hang
Right,
on.
Ashley's through.
Okay,
Approve and adopt the the health and safety policy.
no, it doesn't have
We
a
don't
have
policy.
one.
Yeah.
Freedom of information policy.
Which presumably we don't have much say on doing.
No.
Okay.
Just
So you propose
I
that, yeah?
propose it. Second. Sharon second. All in favour?
Controversial.
Approve and adopt the updated equality and diversity policy.
Again, pretty standard,
Yeah.
really.
That's the one you
Proposed.
updated all of the wording.
That's one of them,
Yeah.
yes. Proposed
I'll second.
and second, all in favour?
All right. Thank
Sorry, this is a bit laborious.
you. No, well done.
Approve and adopt the records management policy.
Mhm.
I'll propose it.
I'll second it.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Approve and adopt the recruitment policy. Proposed,
Yeah,
second,
I'll second it.
all in
I haven't
favour?
read it actually, so I'll abstain.
Okay.
I'm almost with you.
Peter, you were also there, weren't you?
I was.
Yes, okay.
That's why I'm happy with them, because I read them.
Yeah, we've all read
So
it,
we're done.
but you would know that how it arrived at.
It was changing the wording. We got there already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were 90%. 91%.
Yeah.
Approve and adopt the information security policy.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favour?
Okay.
Approve and adopt the updated safeguarding policy.
Yeah.
Propose it.
And seconding it.
Second, all in favour?
Yeah.
Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Adopt, review and adopt the code of conduct. I should say policy.
No.
Just the code of conduct.
Okay. I'll propose that.
I'll second it. Ian will second. Ian, well, have you
Ian
seconded
will second it.
it?
Just to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
All in
Just
favour?
stopping me copying and pasting later.
I think Ian's hands up on that.
Yes.
Seconded.
He's second, he's got it.
I hope he's-
Review and adopt the green spaces management policy. Propose that.
I second that.
All in favour?
And that one's still got a date of 2016 on it, so is that,
That
the date's not been updated?
Yeah, that'll change it up a different page on it. So this is, nothing's changed in this policy, it's just a review.
Oh, it's just a review of
Put
the
the
same
review
policy.
date on it. Yeah.
Sorry, was that all in favour?
Yes.
That's all in favour, I believe.
Sharon?
Sharon?
I haven't read it, so I'll just abstain, sorry.
I'll abstain as well, because I haven't read that one.
Okay.
Okay. So, 152.15, to agree the suggestions from the policy group regarding how the council could make supporting documents available to parishioners. Now, after much discussion, policy work group are proposing a compromise. So rather than publishing verbatim all supporting documents, we're proposing that the council make available before the meetings any financial documents, budgets,
Links to public.
links to public documents which don't need to be gone through and redacted. And in addition, we were going to try and make the items on the agenda a little bit more self-explanatory, so you don't have to be in the know to understand what that's about. We're hoping that this will go some way to making the council more transparent without creating cost and effort to the clerk, and also increasing the risk that we may inadvertently publish something which we could fall foul of.
So it'll be things like
Open to discussion.
things like this diffusion tube pollution. It gives what the cost was, what it will be, and therefore what increase is being discussed. And to put that sort of information on, to give the dates for when the application's been held for asked for the ball and the Easter cross. So you've got more information regarding the agenda points on the agenda. And then, like it was said, that if there's something that refers to There is one there, but a policy by local council, the link will be on the website. You go to the policy so you can read it on there, and all finance documents will be available. So it's giving far more information.
And is it true that this agenda has been written with that in mind?
Yes.
So there's more information on this agenda than we would
Absolutely.
have put on before?
Yeah.
So it's an example for councillors to look at.
I think it's excellent, and I think it's more in line with other local parish councils that they have maybe more explanation on the agenda, because I just think we've had lots of feedback from parishioners that they don't feel it's worth coming because they don't know what's going on, and I think just sometimes actually we don't. I know for an agenda it's good to put discuss and decide something to vote on, but actually sometimes, like that example there, where people are requesting, a driveway to their property or something, maybe that needs to be added just so that to say, discussions ongoing with the council or something along that line. But because then I think it would attract more parishioners to come to the meetings, and that's what we're here for, really.
So there's two things. The fact that all the financial information is generated by the council, made by the clerk. So that's something we've got more control over. And it is arguably the most important bit to be as open as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that was discussed by the policy group, and that's the proposal.
And we were proposing that it would go for 6 months, see how it goes. Make sure that it's not too onerous a task. Make sure it complies with how getting the information out there.
Feedback? Yeah,
Do we need to also check the parishioners as to whether they're finding it really?
Well, hopefully we'll get that in comment form, yes.
Once we've got it going, yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're saying in 6 months' time, then 6 months' time we should be asking parishioners if they feel they've got more information.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should put something on the website.
Yeah.
Just ask.
That's a good idea.
And if we're having quotes for work, like we get 3 quotes for everything, are we going to put quote A, B and C for in supporting documents for parishioners to see?
So anything financial, anything with a pound sign in front of it, we will endeavour to get in the agenda.
Right, okay.
So that's
a proposal there.
Yeah.
one second that.
And all these things like on the current agenda where it's things like discuss and decide upon response to the feedback survey from JPAG, were those surveys or there'll be links will be put on the website so people can see what that survey is that we'll be discussing.
If they're public documents.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the idea, so that they can.
Write any comments themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
so that's a proposal.
Yeah.
I'm happy to second that.
Graham seconds it. All in favour?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Big chunk.
The other thing about freedom of information is if the council gets an email in, is that I know you probably get loads of emails, but if it's pertinent to a parishioner requesting something, can you share that with the councillors? So if it's addressed to the clerk, then obviously the councillors should be aware of it.
It depends what it is.
I suppose it depends if it sort of relates to businesses on the agenda, doesn't it? I think because there are some emails in the supporting documents, aren't there, that don't tell us who they're from, but they tell us that they're from a parishioner, which is what it's good because then we don't know who it's from, and we don't need to know who it's from.
No, as long as we know. So if there's a complaint or something coming in, would you be able to forward those to us?
Now we've got a complaints procedure.
Yeah, but I suppose what I'm saying is, will you share it with all of the councillors?
I'd have to, I don't know the complaints procedure off by heart at the moment, but not necessarily. because it depends. If a councillor was the subject of that complaint, then I'd need to be careful as to how I handled it, which is why I've now got a policy to follow.
Oh yeah, but you know, if for instance they complain that there's not enough rubbish bins or something, you know, that's kind of thing. Because it would just be, I suppose.
Well, something like the bins that were not emptied, let's say,
Yeah.
for example, they could just dealt with that. So it happened in real time. But not.
Yeah. It's only if it's something that the council needs to discuss and agree on that it would come. That's all.
I think it's quite useful to share things. So, like, sometimes other councillors get emails, and if it's come from a parishioner, like sometimes it's quite useful for other councillors to know, like, some feedback that a parishioner has provided, because you don't necessarily want the responsibility on your shoulders that you're the only one that knows that comment or that feedback. So I think it's those sorts of things I would definitely share if I received something.
So it just depends on what you
I'm agree with that. The more we know, the more we have common knowledge, the more effective.
Yeah, the discussions are more.
Exactly.
The Church Lane easement is a good example of one where I included it in my clerk report. So I haven't forwarded the emails to all the councillors, but I've included it in my clerk report so you know what's happening with it.
Okay. Moving on. Item.
Before we do, I just thank everybody who's part of the policy group. There's a lot of evenings went into getting all those done, so thank you very much.
Yes. Well, hopefully in the future we'll just be reviewing, won't it?
Yeah.
And then tweaking the odd things that have come to light.
Changes.
This is quite a batch on the website, aren't there? Be more soon. Thank you. Okay. Item 153, finances. Now, sideways glance at my responsible financial officer. At the last meeting, we did look at the management accounts and budget analysis. Bearing in mind that we might have a long meeting, so we sometimes get comments that maybe a shorter meeting would be better. I'm going to suggest that as we reviewed it last month, we perhaps could note that we've had it, with the proviso that page 3 has got a specific bit of analysis for the playground, which you might need for later on in the meeting when we're talking about bins and signs. So is that in order, do you think? Do I need to vote on that proposal? So
No,
that's,
I don't want to do that.
you don't want to? You want to go through it? Okay.
Well, one of the comments we made at the last...
This isn't budget.
So what is this?
This is the one before budget. Okay. I'm not whizzing through the budget. I'm going through the review of management accounts, item 153.1. 153.2 is budgets.
So these...
Yes,
management
yes,
accounts.
which we discussed. That's the ongoing total of stuff that we've done, which we
Okay.
did look at the December meeting. In previous meetings, we sort of put them to side because of time, and then they're always presented every month, but it's not necessary to go through every month as long as they are presented.
Okay, I just have one question on that. We put things like, for example, 2019-20, we've got the total funds. I don't see anywhere where it tells you where we get income to offset against total funds.
Sorry, where are you looking at?
I'm looking at you've got unrestricted funds, total funds, you've got expenditure, so you've got expenditure against the total funds of 105k. Well, we don't have a preset of that size, so where does the money come from?
You've got it in the income figure up at the top. Precept 28,620, VAT
Oh, I see, I beg your
13,347.
pardon, right. Yes.
Yeah.
So our income this year has been 100,981
Thanks to some grants.
with that big grant and the large VAT figure.
Okay, beg your pardon. Right.
So that's where the income over expenditure comes from.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I did do accounts once. I just misread it.
Okay.
Well, armed with that information, so you have got particularly page 3, which you might want for later on in the meeting. I propose that we accept the report, or accept those accounts as an ongoing report. Another second in it. Kieran seconding it. All in favour of what we received?
Yes.
Have a show of hands? Yeah. Okay, that's all in favour. Thank you very much. Now moving on, this is the budget. Now, Again, sideways look at our responsible financial officer. At the last meeting, we were told that, sorry, the sorry?
Do you mean to do this?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. Last meeting, we couldn't balance our budget.
I remember
We were
that.
sent away, Finance and General Purpose Committee sent away to make some changes. Unfortunately, the committee couldn't meet for whatever reason. So we have asked the clerk to propose a revised budget that now balances, which is what she's done. So that's the document, 2021 budget, 153.2.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you want to explain what we've done.
So I have reduced the VAT figure based on the fact that I've done a VAT return up to the end of December to get the VAT back on the playground. So there'll be a much reduced VAT figure because we'll only have 3 months worth of invoices to claim on that. I've also reduced the fireworks income based on what we received this year. And I took out the other line because we have no evidence to prove that that income is expected in.
What other line?
We had £200 in other because there have previously been other incomes, but as I say, we have no evidence that that income is expected.
Okay.
I have split out the green open spaces into 2 sections, so you've got the maintenance contract and then the remaining green open spaces, which includes the mowing of the cricket pitch and all the tree work, and reduced that budget with the consent of green open spaces, so now you've got a total budget there of 11,000. I've also reduced the handyman services budget, so instead of 5 hours a week, it's now based on 3 hours a week. Did I make any other changes? Oh, yes, I did. There's one more instalment of the Hutton donation to come out of the restricted funds into the unrestricted. So the fireworks expenditure from the council point of view, out of their unrestricted funds, will only be 800, based on a spend of 1,800 again. And, oh, we added the diffusion tubes back in.
Yeah, following our last meeting.
Following the last meeting.
Okay.
That's the budget.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
The handyman services, you say you've reduced, it looks like it's gone up to 1,400.
It was 2,300.
Reduced from the budget that we talked about at the last meeting, rather than
Yeah.
reduced from the
What
actual.
was spent in previous years.
Okay.
Because I've got one of those.
What you're looking at is what we had before, which was very much a reduced handyman service.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is reduced not from the last time, but from
Reduced from the previous
Yes, so we were going to have 5 hours a week.
Okay. My second point, as has been said tonight, but also back in November, we had a parishioner suggest that we allocate some budget to things to do with the B1040 and us trying to get traffic reduced. But there's nothing in here on that. And when the various traffic groups met last week, one of the things that came out was if we're going to make a difference and try to get signage or whatever to dissuade vehicles from coming through, we're going to have to spend money. And we can try to get some from parishioners or sources of funds, but I think the Parish Council throwing something into that pot would be a very good move, not least because it affects a fifth to a quarter of households directly on the Portland Road. That's a large number of our resident group. There are far fewer houses around the Green, for example. So I just feel that we don't necessarily have to spend so much on the green environment, much though I'm a fan of it, every year. Why don't we have occasional years where we think, right, we'll hold on those things, we'll invest in trying to improve life for more parishioners by doing something else, like investing in traffic calming.
Isn't it the case that to do traffic calming we'd have to get approval from somebody else?
Of course, from the county
So therefore,
council.
these things are normally long discussions, aren't they? And therefore, you would normally get a heads up that some money is going to have to be spent. I mean, I would have thought that the process starts off, you get approval.
But there's nothing
No,
we
we
need
can't
to
have something budget, like when the LHI bid, for example, you usually have to put up a certain amount of funding towards the thing, like 10% or as much as possible.
Yeah.
So if
And
we
that's
have
not
something
in here either.
budgeted, it would help with those sorts of applications for other funding.
Yes.
So
And
at
for
the
example-
moment, there is no proposal for an amount to be spent, is there?
Well, there
We've got
is.
nothing.
There is.
What
The
figure
current
would you-
LHI fund,
Yeah.
sorry, LHI application that we put in,
Yeah.
and originally went in for a sum of 15k, 1,500 of which is supposed to be provided by this council. And it's not here.
Yeah, we did agree that back in.
Was that the one that was rejected? Because it didn't have a purposeful,
It wasn't
meaningful
rejected.
It wasn't
purpose.
rejected, it wasn't rejected, it's that they've asked us to give more detail.
And it's been changed now, hasn't it?
It has been
To ask for a
changed,
feasibility
but-
study, so there's no cost.
Yes, there
There
is.
is still a cost.
Of what?
There
We still
is.
have to
How
put
much
in
is the
They're
cost?
still asking us to, on the assumption that that sum is right, and the council, county council are not sure about it either, they would expect a donation, a minimum of £200,
Okay.
and it may well be more than that,
Mm.
because they haven't really scoped out the feasibility study.
I mean,
So-
if it's a figure of that order, I don't think there'll be any problem in us approving it.
But
So
then
why is it
there's
not
other
here?
things.
Because there's no guarantee that we're
we
going
have.
to spend it. I mean, these are the sort of figures that we've
But
spent
we've
in the
got,
past.
we've got on here reserve contributions for the pavilion, bridges, benches, paths, street lights and the playground, all reserves just in case to build
Because
up.
those
the
are
pot. So we can
our,
easily have a traffic reserve fund that we have and it builds up every year. Exactly the same as we've got for those
That needs
things.
to be a proposal then,
Yeah.
and
Well-
specifically, that we have a traffic reserve fund,
Yeah.
suggest a figure what it would be, and then we can,
This is making it really difficult. It's on the agenda to discuss the budget, so surely we can discuss the budget and add things. The budget isn't final, so we don't have to propose it. At the moment, we're discussing the budget.
And also it's
do we
come
not
from
add
the
things
parishioner
through
as
as
well.
So, but we, as decision makers, we have to know what we're being asked to spend, and then if it is
We're,
a significant amount, it will have to be precepted, won't it? Because that's our source of income. It'll have to go back out to the parish to be put in the precepts to come in.
but
And we need a figure
we
to be
don't
able
go
to know
back out
that.
to the parish for all of these individual things.
Because
do we?
it's within the
it's
precept.
history. It's history, isn't it?
It's within the precept.
Yeah.
It's
so,
asking for another figure.
this is like our sort of maintenance, every year, stuff that goes on. We know what it is, a lot of it, we have direct responsibility for this maintenance. What you're asking for is
It's not me,
It's
it's
not-
for the parish is asking for.
So what we're talking-
Parishioners are asking for.
what I think Lisa was referring to is we're not talking about lack of interest in doing it. I think we're all very
Yeah.
keen to see something happen on the 1040.
It doesn't feel like that,
Well,
to
but
be honest.
it's to do with
Well,
how
I
the
find that
procedure
offensive,
of how we do it.
Yeah, we met, we have had two EOs about the LHI, so that is not a fair comment.
And there's
No.
just quite a lot, it
Not
feels like
about
quite a lot of
budget.
obstacles in terms of the budget.
Well, the budget's
also-
there.
The budget has been presented. It's the second time it's been presented. We're not saying that if something came up, we wouldn't find money for it.
So
It's different.
but why don't we have a
Because we
reserve there
haven't
for,
got-
why don't we have a reserve there for traffic? So, because we've had this discussion before, like last year when there was other things, it's like, well, it's not in the budget, so then it's a big debate about whether we've got the funds for it. If we have something set aside, because we've talked about the TRO, we need to do monitoring.
Mm.
So we've talked about the fact, and I presented things before about, I provided the document about the cost of noise monitoring, vibration monitoring. We can't start any of that unless the parish council agreed to put some money in. So it's some of it.
What you're saying is absolutely right. But the way to get it to happen is to have it as an agenda item, something that we can vote on.
But
A
This is
proposal,
the
a proposal.
Yeah.
What are we actually talking about? Hard cash wise, so you can put something in. Because there's no proposal, there's lots of talk about the parish council doesn't
Okay,
support.
can I-
Parish council
okay,
would love to
I hear you.
support, but we don't know what you're asking
You're
for.
just pushing this away. Okay, there might be a requirement, which is for us to propose a budget. But in so much as like what I was saying, you've got reserves here that don't have anything against them. So why can't we propose that there is a reserve for traffic related issues to help support the parish to actually reduce the traffic come through the village.
That's a great idea, but
Yeah.
it's the first I've heard of it as being a proposition.
Also, bearing in mind...
And how much?
Bearing in mind that
We're
we've
not,
also...
but we're just, I don't understand the thing where you need a specific proposal. Isn't this, it's on the agenda to agree and discuss the budget. All we're asking is to add a line item to the budget, so we don't
Okay.
have to...
With a zero?
At the last...
Because you haven't come up with an
At
amount that
the
you want to
last-
put
We
in it.
have got two amounts so far, and you're just blindsided.
Which are
with
what?
At the last
it. You've got a
meeting...
1,500 sum, and you've got a 200 sum. So you've got two things
So
you can
were
choose
these
from.
discussed
And
when
you've
the
got the
precept...
TRO.
I do apologise, I wasn't here for the precept discussion, but were they brought forward at the precept discussion as that it needed to be included to raise the income to go on the precept?
No, because the precept was always, the income was always way below what the budget was at the last discussion, so a specific amount wasn't discussed.
I think you have to bear in mind that we have agreed how much money we're getting in. So if the proposal is that we amend the figures here, bearing in mind it's the first time it's come on to the budget, I would suggest it's a small figure to start off with, which will mean we won't need to cut too much off what's already in there, but it will then be a line item, so in future years it will be a trigger.
I just think we can pull it from other places because, for example, we've got fees in here that we don't necessarily spend, like travellers, £1,000, for example. That's not a guaranteed spend. It's just we've spent it in the past, so we've got that there.
Twice recently.
So, yeah, okay. So, we've got that there. But you're saying, oh, we should come to it when we need it. Well, the travellers, we could come to it when we need it. Do you see what I mean? It's like it's not a definite thing. So it's the same issue. We could come to it and say, but we need it. We need almost to know now that we can go ahead with some of these things. Like, can we look into instigating monitoring to build up the data we need for the TRO once we work out what we need? Otherwise, we come back meeting after meeting, and then there's always a big argument because well, not an argument, but like we have to look at the funds and there's nothing there. But if we've got something in there, then at least we've got a starting point to say, okay, yeah, we have set some aside, or we haven't. You know, I just think it doesn't look like the parish council are supporting the traffic if they're not even putting anything in the budget. And I know that was a comment from the county council as well.
It's a terrible accusation.
That isn't
Well, it's not an accusation, it's just that's just how it appears when you look at the budget.
Yeah, but
I
the thing is-
understand what you're saying because it is brought up by parishioners at every meeting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it,
How many
it is.
parishioners every meeting? Sorry.
It's been brought up by the county councillor as well.
Well, for the last year, it's been brought up virtually at the open session at the first 10 minutes from various parishioners who have expressed concerns about traffic and traffic monitoring. So it is an ongoing issue, and at the last meeting I thought we'd all voted not to employ a handyman currently while we
Can I just
because
say,
we couldn't
I
afford
think if
it.
this came to the parish council as a proposal, that we earmark a certain amount of money to work as a fighting fund for improve the people's lot on Pot Road, it will get unanimous support. I don't think that's an issue.
But why does it have to be
Because
brought
somebody has to do
separately
it.
to-
Somebody actually has to say, can you put that on the agenda? This is the motion, write the motion, and we'll vote on it.
Even when the motion is to discuss the budget.
I mean, we're discussing the budget tonight. We know what the income is because that's been set. So it's a budget it's a budget to draft. We can tweak that if we're happy.
Well, that's what we're saying. Could we not tweak it by adding some funds in there as a reserve contribution?
But then it's a question of how much we start off with. I mean, presumably we can change it. What is this draft
Yeah.
budget?
And we were going to agree it last month, or whenever it was, when it didn't
That's
balance at all.
it.
So
And the result was...
now it's great, it does balance.
Yes.
And
I thought we'd actually discussed the services of a handyman and said that at the moment, currently, we cannot afford it. So I'm quite surprised to see it back on here. So did we vote for... has anyone proposed that the handyman is now brought back onto the budget?
We didn't vote the handyman was coming off. We said that maybe we couldn't afford the £5.
I thought we did. Rob put that forward.
No,
and said,
the comment was that the budget didn't add up and therefore it was rejected and it was sent back to finance to say please make it align better, and by reducing the handyman's hours to 3 from 5 we saved money there. So we have not voted to take the handyman away. I think really it's a starting point, and I think we need to sort of have, perhaps it might appease if we have a nominal sum on there at this time, taken from other figures, and it then becomes a figure that, it becomes a line, so that every year when we discuss the budget, we can say, right, that isn't enough, or we need more.
If we're talking budget, there's an amount on the budget of £50 for playground, isn't there?
50?
Yeah, it says 50. Now, we've got papers before us that suggested expenditure in excess of £50.
Which line are you on?
Which is budget.
Well, there's 50 quid on the playground on the budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has all the expenditure happened on the playground, or is that because at the minute the stuff that's on the agenda appears to be outside of what the main proposal was? Yeah. So is that, are we not using up the reserves on the playground this year then?
There is, on further down the agenda, there are items
Yeah.
which will cost money, depending if you agree or not.
So I just wondered how short we will be this year on overspend, because there's stuff coming through which wasn't included in the whole proposal of the playground, was it?
But I think the point is that budgets are nominal, aren't they? Those are what we imagine they must be,
Yes.
and therefore things vary, things go up, things go down.
So we may not have any travellers this year. We may have 2 lots.
Legal right. That's right, we don't know.
Sure.
But that said, I'm sure if someone came to us and said we need some money for a traffic system, we would have time to get the money, because we have to negotiate with left, right and centre people to get things sorted.
So if we did 2 things then, took your proposal for now, which is to create a nominal budget, and secondly, that one of us, I believe it's me, puts forward a proposal that we actually put in a reasonable sized budget for traffic issues, at least for a year or 2 years, something like that. We could do that. Because if you're saying that this balances now and the precept is what it's going to be, then you're also saying it's nominal, so we could put in that proposal and then play around with the allocation of the budget.
Well, we'll have to bring the budget back again, won't we?
Well, we can. I imagine that we can line through it.
You can add lines and I can
We can,
resolve.
yeah. I mean, bearing in mind the budget adds up.
Where we can take stuff from.
I mean, even in the agenda, it says there's a request for 3,500 from our budget.
That's a later item, and that we need
That's
to
the
do.
Hilton action group. So, you know, it is on the agenda, so I sort of think perhaps it needs to be in the budget, doesn't it? If that's requested for
I
this
think there
year.
needs to be a little bit of, could I just say something about the general attitude with this? I mean, it's very aggressive what you're accusing the parish council of. I've stood up with meetings out. Sorry?
We're part of it.
Yeah, I know, but you kind of, there is no agenda here. It's purely to do with the fact that it wasn't proposed or costed in any way or as an item.
Okay.
If you want to put it in as a budget item, so we've got something for the future, unspecific, but there just to know it's there. I think that's a really good idea.
Okay.
I don't think it's right to say the council doesn't care. That's inflammatory. And we've had meetings at Cambs County Council. Peter, Graham and I have stood out there with our local councillors. We've put time into this in the past and got nowhere. So if somebody wants to do it, I for one will be right behind it.
I'm happy to come up with that proposal, and I certainly haven't meant to intimate that Parish Council isn't sympathetic to the
Strikes me the agenda items later are indicating that completely.
Right, can we deal with one thing at a time?
We'll tackle that.
We're obviously getting irritated. The point is that in us trying to understand how best to get that line on the budget, from my understanding, you need a proposal with some suggested sums to get us started. You're saying for the future, so I'm wondering what you mean by that. This is the budget for 2021, so can we put forward a proposal that ends up with a line in the 2021 budget for some nominal sum that might help us get signage or whatever for...
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's an item here that says pavilion, and it's naught, okay? So that is a trigger, so that every year we run down pavilion, no, we're not going to spend some money. So, as a quickie, you could quite easily put traffic light measures, naught, because this year we haven't received anything that we envisage we're going to spend money on. We might get a response from NHI, and they say to us, you know, spend it. We don't know when that would come through, and therefore we don't know when we need to spend it.
But you're right, we don't know when we might need to spend it, but back in July, when we put in the application for the LHI bid, there's a sum of money...
Was it July?
Yes, July. There's a sum of money that we are asked for, and 10% minimum is required to be paid by the Parish Council. So I'm just...
So there should be a line of £400 on here for the LHI bid.
Well,
Why 400?
Because wasn't it £4,000?
Oh, for this particular one?
Yeah, the LHI bid was for £4,000.
It was originally would have been for 1,500, okay, and one could argue that should be in this budget.
But the LHI bid that was submitted was for £4,000?
Well,
the one after our EO extraordinary meeting?
Yeah. Was that one we just put in?
Well, it's been amended on Friday.
Sorry, I think most recently.
On Friday we got a note from a person saying that I estimate, that would clearly been done very quickly, that the feasibility study will cost £2,200.
£2,200?
Yeah.
She didn't have any staffing costs.
But she hasn't, it's a skeletal thing, I can show you what she said.
But,
so I'm not convinced that that's going to be the total of a feasibility study.
The HIR that we submitted following the last extraordinary meeting was for £4,000.
2,000.
No, when we submitted it, it was for up to 15,000, right? And then they've come back and said they've costed it at around 2,000. We didn't have to submit an amount, but we just said we're applying for up to 15,000.
So we need to set aside £2,200. £200, yes, being 10% of that £2,000. Yes? As a starter.
Yes. Yeah, although
as a starter.
They said, I don't quite know how it works with it. They suddenly say the feasibility is actually going to cost 5. I don't know, because
she said it's £2,000.
It's not being fully costed.
But it's a starting point. The only thing is you don't know when that LHI will start, and therefore you don't know when we will be asked for the money.
But if it's going to be, yeah. So that's £200 then.
Yeah.
Well, would that suffice?
That covers the LHI bit, but in addition, as we've seen several times before, there is from the parish a request for short-term measures that will help to reduce overnight ban, for example, reduce the number of vehicles that are defying the overnight ban. So, for example, the interactive signage at 2 points.
And there's then the much longer term measures of the TRO that we've discussed about what we need to do to support that and what we might need to do.
But surely that's a later thing that can be discussed when we get further down the road on that one.
Yeah, well,
you can't put the money in
now. I think.
And has the cost been suggested to Parish Council what it might be asked to contribute?
In terms of the monitoring costs and things, I think we put forward some document in the some of the proposed costs for both vibration and noise and things like that, but there was no proposal, it was just the information at that point because we haven't.
So
we're still working with Cambridge County Council to find out exactly all the hoops you need to jump through and what we do need to do so we get the right data. But as we're budgeting for a full year ahead, I think it's just if we don't put anything in for that sort of thing, then does that mean if in 6 months' time they do get back to us and say, right, we need this sort of data, we can't then look at collecting that for another year because it's not in the budget, or at that point do we then
I'm sure if somebody came in with a very viable
concern, I think,
project, we would find the money.
Yeah. Don't forget we have reserves as well. We have to keep a certain amount of reserves for things that come at us.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
before we committed any to know exactly what the council's financial situation is following the continued spend on the playground. before saying yes, because saying yes to a commitment, there are ears that will say, oh, that's £4,000. Brilliant. There are ears that say, that's £5,000. Brilliant. We haven't got a figure that we're saying yes to, or no to.
I think that's been the problem in the past, isn't it? No one wants to know what their financial situation is.
So what are we saying right now? I'm hearing two things. One, bring a proposal to the Parish Council to set up a traffic budget. But secondly, in the meantime, that we find from the existing proposed 2021 budget £200 that would pick up the potentially pick up our contribution to this feasibility study for the LHI.
I think that probably has to go on the budget, doesn't it? As we've submitted the LHI and been told what it's going to
needs to be
cost.
aligned there, certainly.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a trigger for years to come.
I don't know where you take it from. But
Well, I mean, the thing is, things vary. I will be quite happy to suggest that legal is taken out to 800.
see, I would say that the election cost needs to go up from 100.
Well, well,
Because
So
we're
there's
due
lots of things to
an
do,
election
is there?
again.
no, I think the reason why it's only 100 is that we have got reserve money, haven't we?
Yeah, we keep in our earmarked reserves. So we have general reserves and we have earmarked reserves. There is a cost of an election in the earmarked reserves.
So that's not the sort of the 4 times cost it will be. There's already
No,
the money.
because that's what it should be, shouldn't it? It should be a quarter of the election cost.
Yeah. But I just think it would be a good starting point. And then we can see. But as I don't think you can put money in not knowing how you're going to spend it.
So are we this evening going to put in these £200 for the current LHI?
I'm looking around the general sort of nods of, Ian, are you sort of okay with that?
Are we putting that as like one of these reserve contributions just in general for traffic? Or
Yes, it would be at the
specifically
bottom.
for
Yeah,
LHI?
because it would be much easier because we could then just do it as a line item and sign it, or it could come back again. But there would be under playground maintenance. We could put in the 200 there.
Traffic reserve contribution.
Okay, that's the proposal. Can I have a second of that, please? That we put in £200 by taking it £200 off legal.
Sharon, second.
Sharon, second. All those in favour?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good. Okay.
And
Right.
can I just add one other thing? It's brought to my attention that Nick had this in the November minutes or December, comments on the budget received from Councillor Ian Bates. My understanding is that he sent this as a commissioner rather than the county councillor. So doesn't that mean we need to discuss all the things that we put on his request?
Well, I think we did actually, they were mentioned, weren't they? Yeah, they were all mentioned.
I
at the
was
last
there and I
meeting.
don't remember all of
Yeah, I think
them.
they were.
Could be my brain.
I'll have to dig after those. Yeah.
Okay, so that this will all be minuted for the Nick. That
In the previous.
No, only the resolutions have to be limited. So
no, I mean the resolution to each of these items.
No, there was no resolution for each of those items.
Okay, I thought if a question raised something we had to respond to.
No, thank you.
No, I'd have to look into that one.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so item 154, Hilton Traffic Group, to receive a report from the working group
Yeah.
and discuss and decide upon the motions presented by the traffic group.
Right, you've got there the detail of meeting, total traffic meeting. Read it out for you at the moment. The various things that the traffic group was saying was it would be really great if the Parish Council could, I suppose this is my words, not the group, make more of a noise, say, on the website and so on, that they really are supporting the traffic groups to do things about reducing traffic flows, levels, speeds in the village. So that's what that first point refers to. It's funny when you write things, it seemed quite innocent at the time, but it comes out quite strongly, so sorry if it's come out too strongly. And the sense of wanting to help and endorse what the different traffic groups do. There's a number of traffic groups not under our wing, and the Hilton Traffic Group, Parish Council-wise, is really just to find out what's going on, share information, and I'm just kind of trying to make sure we hear what the groups are saying. Yes, statements on the website would be really helpful. Yes, a regular update item on the agenda, and in a sense we do cover that in part, but I guess it was just about a more collective view about what's going on with our roads now, parishioners, where are they with our actions on the road, just trying to get a better sense of us being genuinely interested. After they encourage reinforcing village traffic groups to take action, yes, this was something that came up at the extraordinary meeting, the idea that in addition to whatever the parish council does and supports, that it also supports other groups dealing with traffic issues to take action, to actually do things. So, for example, we've got there's a need to get signage for the overnight ban, interactive signage. That's the view. So if we're going to do that and the parish council isn't going to fund it, then we need to find support from elsewhere. But the parish council's endorsement of that and encouragement, I think would be helpful. Yeah, and I've said a request for 3.5k from the budget, which is to do with that signage, because the decision at the extraordinary meeting was not to include that in our bid to the county council, to stick to the feasibility study. So there's something we could put in the budget, is to get that interactive signage. We've got costs for the equipment, but there will be a bit more for electricity and erecting the signs. So that's a specific. Yes, if we could, there's a lot of people suffering from the traffic issues, some of whom write to the parish council, many of whom do not. And I just feel that if we encourage parishioners to voice their views and ideas more, then we might galvanise a bit more of a strong voice that we can throw at the county council, whoever, to actually help make sure we make the changes that we need to make. And just as an aside, it was interesting at the meeting this morning, the county council panel, of the 8, 9 people around the room who were on the panel, 3 of them jumped up and said, it's exactly the same in our parish, you know, and it really isn't good enough, etc., etc. So there's a lot of heat in a lot of areas around here, around what's happening with the roadways, and dominating some communities, villages. So if we encourage that voice, then we might be able to use it more effectively. So that's a request. That's an update.
I do take your point that I do find these very strong, some of these comments, and I wonder how well the groups are working together. The working group was set up back in June,
yeah.
With various parish council members, and there were 4. The fact that two don't get invited is a bit of an issue. And so,
Ian backed out.
Yeah. Well, I looked at the minutes. My name's on there and Peter's name's on there as well. But that's not the point. The point I'm going to suggest. They're on the minutes, okay? I checked tonight the minutes of June.
It was because I think I remember there were several working groups all amalgamated together. Do you remember, like when we discussed it in the May or June meeting? I think there was an A14 traffic group, and you and Peter had been on that, so that's why.
Yeah, and they were carried over to the traffic group.
No, anyway, I declined an invitation to the one meeting I was invited to.
Anyway, the point I'm going to make is that I don't think that we are required to publish an apology for things that we haven't done. So my proposal is that this is sent back to the policies group to try and come up with a better understanding of what everyone's doing, because we have four groups, all coming under the transport group, that's working group that's done with the parish council. And as Anne's on the policy group as well, perhaps we can have a sort of quiet, frank talk about how the working group can better work to galvanise how the working group and the transport group and all the other groups in the village can work such we have a united front. Once that, and then we have terms of reference, is it? Terms of reference. Now those terms of reference will be on the website.
There are no terms of reference for a working group,
but we could.
You could have terms of reference for a working group if you want.
Bearing in mind what it is, then once that has been agreed by council, those terms of reference could be on the website, and that would be how the working group is expected to work.
Well, for all working groups or just...
This particular one has got no terms of reference. No, because we don't have the same number of groups that we're trying to control, to work with. We have got 4 separate groups that have got their own identity. And judging by these comments that have come back, we are not very harmonious, and we need to be more...
Sorry, it probably just me the way I presented it, but firstly,
there it is, it's written, it's on the agenda.
Nobody is complaining. Nobody is asking you to say sorry. I don't understand where that even comes from.
I think you are, because we at the meeting
it's an upbeat request.
Yes, well, okay.
Do more.
My suggestion is that we don't work to these, and that we have an informal review of the working group to come up with a way it works.
What I'm uncomfortable with in reading this, is that we're saying, go out and say what you like on behalf of the Parish Council. And that's not right. It's got, the group cannot be allowed to say things on behalf of the council. That's what it says.
It is. You might have meant it, but what you've written down is not good.
I go so far as saying this should really not have been on a Parish Council agenda.
No,
this should be come in as a form of a report that could have been presented.
This more or less gives people carte blanche to go out and throw carpet tax on the on the big 1040 to reduce volumes of traffic through the village. You could take it at that. It gives people carte blanche to do anything.
It doesn't say without approving or in the box as to what it is. I think it looks like it proposing.
What are you talking about that? This that's in the
my notes.
In the notes that Anne put through.
I see. Not on the agenda.
No.
What it says, as the encourages reinforces traffic rules independent of the Parish Council to take action. It doesn't say to take any action they like, does it?
It just...
And it wasn't intended to say that.
It could be misrepresented.
Exactly.
And we have to be, as a parish council, we're not a pressure group. We are a representative body with lots of rules and laws. We can't have people who are not under the control of the parish council saying things to other councillors or people in the village, things which we have not authorised, endorsed or discussed here in the council. And that's why I don't think it should have been on the agenda. I think it should be presented as a report, just to finish my point, because there isn't a motion in here. There's nothing to vote on.
No, exactly.
It was the report, isn't it? I have to say I've missed the last 2 traffic working group meetings. So Anne's been doing all this on her own. So,
but just as a point of principle, what goes on the agenda? We can all ask for stuff to go on the agenda, but it's got to be something we can vote on, and it's got to be, if there is anything that has been costed, like this item on the signage, which is £3,500 plus electricity plus erection costs. I mean, so open-ended. The sight of them is on other people's land. Where the power is coming from.
We have approval from CCC yet.
How's it going to function? And if this is a serious request for the Parish Council to put in £3,500, it's not going to go, is it?
I understood this as a report from the... Apologies, Anne, because I wasn't there, but I understood this to be a report as what's the discussion and what the working group and... The working group, I wouldn't say it is necessarily 4 different groups. I would say it's almost more parishioners and working with the Parish Council. The people aren't there necessarily representing any specific group. In fact, many people work on various groups because we've got Lorry Watch, Speed Watch, various ones and multiple overlap between the 2. So, but I understood this to be a report from that group and what the discussions were and the outcome, rather than this is a specific request.
That's how I read it. It's to receive a report, because I didn't think they had to vote on every single agenda.
It's asking
to receive a report.
It's asking the Parish Council to endorse a statement, which is the PC fully supports bona fide efforts, blah blah blah. So that is asking us, presumably, as a council, to say, right, okay, that's our mission statement on this issue, which is.
But we don't. We might not. There might be things that are proposed that we don't support.
And
that's why
fully accept
I couldn't agree to that sort of comment.
It was never meant to suggest, and apologies if that's what it does suggest, that this was a carte blanche, free for all, anything you suggest we're going to support. That was never intended.
That's fine.
And so maybe we need to put a notice on our website to say Parish Council has supported an LHI application seeking a feasibility study to remove the 1040 from the whatever freight route it is, because that is a strong thing that the Parish Council has done. Yeah? And at
really
the extraordinary meeting of the Parish Council, it's about £3,500 to be spent on signage that was outside the village was agreed, was discussed, and it was rejected. It was not supported. We've already said that in the minutes earlier on this evening. It was not supported
that meeting,
by the Parish Council.
At that meeting, it was suggested that we work through the other groups to get that funded and done elsewhere. So the ideal is it's comes from the Parish Council, but if that's going to happen, then, you know, it wasn't me who said it, it was others in the group said, well, the other groups can go ahead and pursue these requests themselves.
Indeed, as long as they do it under their own umbrella, but then there'd be no 3,500 from the Parish Council.
Of course.
I'm just, okay, trying to wrap this up. Are we happy that we just do Peter's proposal that we put an agenda item, an item on the website? Or do you want it sent back to policy to try and clarify what the working group does?
I think my only other point was that I think we're trying to get as many parishioners involved in the issue as possible, as in, because if we try and go to CCC with things and we're trying to, it would be good to have a big force of people, and there are lots of people that it is an issue for, but maybe just don't voice it for whatever reasons, or just don't know how to. It's more just to, if we can maybe have something promoted somehow that we're trying to collect data or opinions or feedback, or we want other people to go themselves personally, just as a person that lives in Hilton, to go to lobby the county council, lobby their MP, whoever it might be, to put pressure on from their own independent personal view, not for any other group. I don't know how we do that as a parish council, but just
their comments to the clerk for us to present.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know the best way to do it. I don't know how the best way to lobby for these type of things, but I just more support on the
I
issue.
think you may get lots of comments that don't really, at the moment,
don't chime with what people want. We know from when we had the J14, there was lots of passion. There was a lot of people wanted to have their ideas heard. We had some open meetings, which was a great way of doing it. And we tried to represent those views as best we could with the J14 Action Group. And we made some small progress. And that's the way to handle this, I think. We've got to try and find a way of getting the energy, but not in a way that leaves the council exposed.
No, I definitely agree.
And also
how to do that. Also, we're trying to come up with ideas of how to get that energy and that, all the people telling the right people at the right time to get that support. Really.
At the extraordinary meeting, we talked around this. We came up with the plan that we were going to do ask for a feasibility study on the freight route. The freight route's the issue. If we can get ourselves off that map, then we're in a really good shape to go to the next stage and the next stage until we finish up where we want to be. And every time we kind of concede we're going to have a sign here or whatever, it kind of undermines the...
You want a united front then?
Yeah. And we know CCC and highways are not going to do traffic modelling until the A14's finished. They've said that all the way through the project, that all meetings that we had at council, we've said it here, they will do that traffic modelling once the A14 is completed, because at the minute there's a danger that the figures are skewed because it isn't fully open.
So I'm getting little enthusiasm for response back to policy group.
Sorry,
So,
your plan was to take...
This is my plan, my
Sorry,
proposal.
sorry.
My
Is
proposal
to
is to send the working group,
To get terms of reference.
yes, so that it's clearer what it should and shouldn't be doing, and that all who participate in it know what the objective is.
If that can be done quite quickly, and then I'll support that.
Well,
No one
it's always your house, obviously. Yeah, it could then be brought back to this.
What would help me is if you could give me an example of what term of reference, just one, might look like for
Well,
this. What are we talking about?
For instance, if there's a strong feeling to do something that you bring to the council in a motion that can be voted on, that's really a good thing.
Yeah.
It would
Because we haven't seen really anything.
It would
other
state
than
who.
that.
You're talking about triple.
There's a lot of sort of statements and grand words, but we haven't had actually anything meaty to actually vote on. So this is a thing that we perhaps would help us all, if just as a matter of course we can do that.
And
what I did was report back what the group was saying.
But it would clarify who's on that committee, and it would be something written on the website so that people would know if we were to get more members, they'd know what the group was doing, how often it met, what its objectives were. Now, I can propose that. In fact, I think I will. But I think we can do that in this month, such that it's presented back to the council at the next meeting. So that's my proposal. Have we got a second? Okay. All in favour? I'll go down to the policy group.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. That's four. All against?
I don't
Abstentions?
quite understand purpose.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Well, enough voting, so I'm going to go for
Is
that.
that 3 abstentions or
It's
3
four.
against?
It's four in favour,
Abstain.
1 abstention, and no votes on for Sharon and Laura. So we'll come back to it. But in the meantime, are we happy that we go with Peter's comment that we put a note on the website that
What the Parish Council have done.
that the LHI has gone in?
I generally do those sorts of things anyway.
Well, they go in on the minutes.
They're in the minutes, so they're lost on the
Because of the
minutes.
announcement said we've got
Yeah.
to probably happen for this. So.
Oh, but only when they're
Oh,
voted
but like
for.
actually
Yeah.
approval, isn't it?
But I think that's a good one. If
I
you-
would be happy with
Would
that.
it be
worth putting it on Facebook as well, just as a notice to say,
Which one, putting something on the website?
and if anybody,
Sorry.
Link to
Sorry.
it.
Okay, so the proposal is that we come up with a statement to confirm what we've done in terms of the NHI submission. That's my proposal. Can I second it, please? And seconding that, all in favour? Bit more universal? Yes? Good. Okay, thanks so much. Good. Okay, moving on to item 155. Right, now, at the last meeting, I tried to get the diffusion tube stopped, but no one voted with me, so that's fine. So the diffusion tubes are very much on the agenda. So the cost has gone up by £2.40, bearing in mind we voted to keep them.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, I don't think we do.
On the agenda, on the minutes, we recorded that the HTG group were going to come back with
But he didn't say when.
I see.
And this is, obviously it's on there, so it depends how long it takes them to come back with it. But at the moment, we can't really, within the 6 month rule, we can't change that. I don't think we can change the fact that we agreed to keep the tubes going.
Did you agree to keep the tubes going?
Well,
You said the invoice would be paid in the meantime
yeah,
until the report
yes.
was received.
I said that we weren't, yes, so the report hasn't been received, so
What report are we talking about?
we're talking about HGV, or HG group,
Hilton traffic,
Yeah.
would present a report to specify why the tubes were useful.
Yeah. Some outcome of the what the data meant.
Oh, we definitely. Oh, well, I don't know if we've done the data analysis. I think we asked Rob to see if he could. I think we at some point. Sorry.
I sent him the Groker
report. I think we discussed it at the traffic working group, not recently, but with the fact that we've got the current baseline, and the reason for continuing was to get the data now that the traffic, the 14 is partially open, so that would be the reason continuing.
But he hasn't come back to council yet. But that said, it's on the agenda. There's also money in the budget for it, so I'm of the opinion that we, certainly for this one, we
It
approve.
was resolved at the traffic group will come back with further information and the invoice will be paid in the meantime. What's the last?
Yes, so we haven't had further
Okay, well,
information,
thank you for that prompt.
so the invoices will...
So that's not a decision to carry on, just that we need the information.
So what further information do you require?
It was councillors discussed that they require further information and a report from the traffic group.
Yeah. At the moment, we get lots of information from the tubes, but I don't think it's been passed back to us, and what is the information that's going to be. So we just asked for a bit more information to see if it was valid.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can send you the tube data this evening. Send
Rob's
that
not part of the traffic group, so I'm just confused if it was Rob that was going to revise
Maybe
the
he was
report, or...
maybe he was going to analyse results. Yes. Yeah. We just need to make sure that the information we're getting is going to be valuable. That the people we send it to will say, yes, this is good information, rather than, no, you've missed off this and therefore all your information is not valid.
And I suppose we're still trying to find some of that out from Lady at County Council about what they need, but...
Okay.
So it's yeah. Okay. So again, I don't think that in the meantime we can stop, but I think it's very much out there that we do need to be careful as to how often or not how often, but how long we continue without the verification reassurance that what we're doing is good. So the proposal, I'm going to say, is that we do carry on for the next 2 months, that the increase of £2.40 is acceptable, and that we do continue to buy the tubes and fit them. That's my proposal. I'll second for that, please. And seconding. All in favour? Great. Thank you much. Right, to receive the report from RATS, Residents Against Traffic Speeding. Now we've got a 3-pager on that, with various vans and cars and people eating donuts while they were driving, and some managing 57 miles per hour coming through. So we have got that. Do we store it in a form? In the same? Right, but all in the pile there.
We've only got 2 pages from that.
There's a 2-page from RATS, and then you've got the link document, which is this one, which is
So that's page 1.
Oh,
no, see, that
so
one.
you've got 2 pages from the
2 pages on one.
Yeah, 2
okay.
pages on that one, and 3 pages on the other one, which is also from Community Road Watch.
Which is the next agenda item.
Yes. So, I mean, we don't do with it other than record it. So we have received it.
Yeah.
So, any proposal there?
You need to just propose receipt.
Okay. I'm proposing that we have received it.
I'll second it.
All those who are confirming they've received it, please confirm. Ian? Yeah. Thank you much. Good. Okay. Right. Moving on. Where are we? Community Road Watch. Now, another. Sorry, this is why I didn't. No, this is why I didn't. Yeah, because this is now another one on the potential, another group that's representing the traffic problems within Hilton. It's hard to keep up, isn't it? But anyway, to discuss and decide whether to pursue the suggestion from Community Road Watch to install better drivers at low. Everybody got any?
So,
what's the cost? What would the cost be?
The overall cost we don't know.
Yes, exactly.
It's a contribution towards it.
Yeah.
If we could take the money and if we don't use it, we can hand it back.
Yeah.
I believe there is a time limit on this. We've got to take it by the
We've got to
end
take the
of
money
March.
by the end of March.
Yeah. So they're proposing pedestrian crossings at paddocks. Signs, I beg your pardon. So the question is, do we want more signage? This would be something we want to pursue.
Have we never actually asked CCC for it, have we?
No. This is something the HTG group potentially take this one on.
Indeed, I was just thinking that. It's certainly, it's relevant, as it were, in the Hilton traffic group, because I would see it as helping to slow down the traffic as it comes into Hilton, which is an issue, particularly when it comes around the corner. So there's a double benefit for crossing the road, but also slowing the traffic coming into the village.
So it does say we have to submit the application by the end of February, so we do have to agree to that today.
Yes, because also, I don't know if you've noticed, but as you come over the bridge now, they've put the national speed limit, so
Yes.
take them over 40
Just
miles
for the bridge.
Yeah.
So as you come off the bridge, then you can speed up to 60 until you hit Hilton at the paddocks down to 30. So I would think that would be a great idea, because it would alert traffic, especially going down that bend, that there is a, pedestrians crossing would reduce their speed, hopefully.
Okay.
But we don't know what the cost is.
No, but that would be
No.
the motion,
They're
I
asking
think.
for
So
that.
if we were to propose that,
It does say for outbound
I
traffic
was
as
going
well.
to say, that, yes,
Sorry.
it's outbound traffic that we're speaking of.
Outbound, sorry, I'm
So it's not inbound.
it's not
Oh,
there,
no.
it's-
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's outbound traffic.
what, a one-sided sign?
No,
Yeah, the suggestion in this is if the Parish Council would agree at its Jan 2020 meeting to apply county highways by end of January 2020 to install at least one pedestrians crossing warning for the outbound traffic across the paddocks and Ice Road.
Why?
I think because they're saying, because
Why?
from the previous data, they get people speeding up because they see the national speed limit
that's
sign.
right. So they come round the corner
Stick the foot down.
and they see the national speed limit, that's right, put the foot down, go belting past.
Before they get out of it.
Okay,
Right.
so
So it's the outgoing traffic speeding, not so much the incoming traffic.
But surely the issue is a Cambridge County Council, isn't it? We would need to get it on the grounds of safety. We're appreciate that it would have a double effect of slowing people down, but if it's something like that, we would have to get CCC involved.
Yeah, isn't
And
this
hopefully they would do it on safety grounds.
Aren't we
I'm
just
sure they
agreeing
do it on
to
both
apply
sides.
to CCC? Aren't we just agreeing on this to apply to CCC and have some money towards
well, I
it?
would say the thing we should vote on is to say,
To establish what the cost is, right?
so the proposal would be that HTG Group find out whether CCC would approve it, what the overall cost would be, and to bring it back to the council for us to approve at the March meeting. Still gives us time to take up the
And
£500.
then we've got to do the application by the end of February, I think.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm not very happy about taking money for something we're not too sure about.
No.
It does seem a little bit, what's the
Well,
word?
indeed.
It is, wham, if the cost is £10,000 like the pedestrian crossing.
It's
It
just
won't
a-
be
it's just
£10,000, but when we talked to County Council about reducing speed limit sign, or speed limit across the green, to bring that from 40 to 30, the cost was £4,000 and it's all yours.
For about 5 signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a lot.
Yeah.
It's all
So
about
before
how
you
put it
commit
in
to
local
agree-
papers and all
Yeah.
this sort of thing, so many times over such and such a period of time.
But this wouldn't be for that, because it's not a change in, it's
Exactly,
not a change
but that was an extreme.
regulation.
But I still
It's
think,
not a small cost.
but I still think it's a CCC matter that we need to find out what sort of.
Well, if we're going to get it in place by the end of February, I can't find it actually.
It's down here. It's in the
Oh,
agenda.
a small bit.
Yeah.
Well,
But can we not just, I don't know, but can we not just apply, and if we're successful, they're not going to force us to pay them the money, can we not just make the application and then
on behalf
we'll
of
see what the application is?
well, yeah, I mean, if CCC aren't going to approve it, it's going to go nowhere, is it? Because we want to put up signs on there.
And it doesn't cost anything to apply, does it? It seems...
I'm quite happy to take that forward.
What's your proposal, Peter?
I will do this bit here. I will go to the PFI form, I'll complete it, I'll send it in and establish what the cost will be and whether CCC will approve.
I think you have to go to the clerk though, because I don't think you can do it.
Oh, yeah, no,
The county council.
Yes, you'll have to, the clerk will have to submit it on
Yes.
my behalf.
But you're happy to
Yeah.
inform the clerk of that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll do that.
right, so, is that your proposal?
Yes. There you go.
I'm happy to second that.
So we're proposing that we go ahead with the application for this signage and accept the £500.
I said £500. I said I'll go forward with the proposal of for it and look into how much it will cost and whether CCC will agree to do it.
And then
If-
tell the guy whether we want his money, is that
Yeah,
right?
if it comes back, then we can have an EO and to decide whether we don't like this. I don't feel comfortable taking money from something we don't know we're going to actually achieve.
No, I just think it's because we just have to let them know by a certain date because it's
Yes.
finance wise.
Well, that's right. So we'll just have to see how quickly we can get
Yeah, that isn't our issue, is it?
Yeah.
That bit there, that's
Yeah.
not.
I mean, all we need is an indication from CCC whether they would accept a site there.
Yeah.
Which presumably wouldn't take too long.
So, because of the time restraint, do we have to decide and vote? It says discuss and decide upon whether to accept the offer from Community Road Watch. So, should we accept that offer? Should we vote to accept that offer tonight? And then, if we're unsuccessful, obviously we won't need to take up that offer of 500. The way I'm reading it is that we need to discuss and decide upon it. So that's something we need to vote on, isn't it?
We need to vote on something.
Yeah. Well, it's a question of whether we take the money and then apply, or whether we apply and then ask for the money later, or whether we
Yeah,
don't
but
ask for money at all.
it's going to be after the deadline, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, it's a question of how company feel, really.
Just rereading this, he's saying submitting the application by the end of Feb 20, the money has to be responded in March 20.
That's right.
So can you vote for accepting the money at the March meeting?
Okay. Well, that's not
Pending the outcome of.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
yeah,
yeah,
right. So the proposal that Peter's saying is that he will initiate the application
Yeah.
via the clerk,
By the pump,
and it will get brought back to the March meeting.
unless there's something dramatic before.
Yes, okay, that's, so your question, I'm happy to second that. Can I have a show of all those in favour? Yeah. Right. I will now be leaving you on grounds of ill health. And thank you very much. And I'm going to hand over to Kieran. And I'll see you at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so item 158. This is Capalpa's written to us asking whether we would support their change of status from an unincorporated association to a private limited company. And the implication to us is that at the moment, as a member of Capalp, should Capalp get into any kind of financial issues, then we are potentially liable. Is that right? So by their changing their status, it means that the princely sum of £1, which is still ours but it'll be held by them, that will mitigate any claim to us. Seems to be a bit of a no-brainer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oppose that? In favour?
Yeah.
Seconded?
Sorry, who seconded?
Ian. All in favour?
Yes.
Not really understand anything more than that, but yeah.
Okay, so item 159, to discuss and decide upon the request from the clerk to attend a Silka Certificate in Local Council Administration training, cost of which is £400 for the course. We have on the budget £1,000 allocated for training. This £400 will not be the only cost because there is a substantial amount of time associated with this too by the clerk. Just the attendance is 20 hours plus they're estimating 40 hours of follow-up work to get the qualification. So we could be looking at a cost of £835. Sorry, just do that here. The clerk has offered to do half those hours for herself, and we would support the other half. So at the current hourly rate that we're paying them, that's £435 to be added to the £400 for the training. Discuss.
Is this the cost of the previous clerk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you get any money back from that?
Joe?
I think we didn't pay the qualification bit in the end or something.
What's the reduced fee? Sharon, we were due to get £200 back. I'm quite happy. I think it's a good course and to be into the job well, and certainly has demonstrated a huge amount of knowledge of the sometimes what we might consider pernickety rules of the parish council, but she does.
I'm not sure if there needs any more training. She seems to be on it with the
And it's really good, isn't it? Because you know we could go off way off tangent, and it's good that Nick was there to pull us in line with what the requirements are. So I would support it.
I've got no issues with it apart from the issue that we had last time, so I don't know if we needed to put any caveat in place about, I don't know if it's possible, or if about repayment of training costs should the law seeks that sort of thing.
We have discussed this, and Nicola is prepared to sign some form of contract for that. So something that you found something, haven't you, which is typical. You've used it before. Basically, you pay less the longer you serve.
But looking at this financial year budget, am I right in reading that we've got about £500 left in that budget?
You have authorised expenditure on counsellor training that I'm still waiting for dates for, so the majority of that budget will go on counsellor training.
So, in fact, we don't have a budget for this.
This will come into the next financial year. The financial year ends on the 31st of March.
So we've got £1,000 in the budget, and this will be 835 hours of that. Does the hours count? Is that, would they count in the training, or would in the training budget? Rather than salaries?
It's not salary, it's
So that still leaves us a bit for the other bits and bobs of training that we do. Usually they're not very significant expenses. There, so any other comments?
On the historically, on the years where we haven't had a particular outlay like this, has there been what training costs been for just ad hoc trainings?
I've only got the last 3 years worth of data.
It's not a lot.
Not much, generally.
No.
So if we're leaving ourselves like 130, 170.
In 2017, you only spent £134.
There has been minimal spend on training. Since 2013, there was a little there was obviously the previous clerk, but that was the largest expenditure.
Okay, so I'm going to propose that we agree to the cost of the training, that we agree to 50% of the 60 hours of extra work needed by the clerk, and that it will be covered by an agreement for, what would you call that?
Training agreement?
Repayment of training fee.
Okay.
Should the clerk leave the employment of the parish council within 2 years, is it?
I think it drops to half after 1 year and then 0 the second year.
So I say that
So the amount to be paid,
yeah,
if the clerk leaves after 1 year, half of it's repayable. After 2 years, none of it's repayable.
Okay, so up to 2 years, something gets paid.
At least 2 years.
Okay.
Can I just check, is that 400, is that the total cost? Because I seem to remember before there was that, and then to actually get the certificate, you had to pay another £750
for the certificate.
Because I think that's what we claimed back last time, because we didn't let the certificate go, but there was an extra.
Yeah. And there was a book, but you've got the book.
We've got the most up-to-date
book that previous clerk had requested, didn't they?
I think we've bought an updated book.
We did, yeah. And Nicola's got it.
So you have no recollection of any other charges?
No, all I've got is the email that you've got in the supporting document.
Right. Okay, so to that end, that's the proposal.
I'll second it.
All those in favour?
Enjoy the training.
Okay, item 160. Discuss and decide upon the Parish Council's response to the consultation regarding the CCC Climate Change and Environment Strategy. So, Graham coordinated the policy group, which couldn't meet for various reasons, couldn't find an agreeable date, but we all put in our own version, and he's packed it all together and got a consensus version of the survey. We just need to agree whether it's going to be submitted.
Was that all it was, really? Just the completion survey?
It was a tick box,
Yeah.
Well, sort of circular thing.
So it's
Yeah.
representative of policy groups' views. It's pretty much aligned.
I don't think we should do everything.
Sorry.
Most things are either very important or quite important.
Yeah.
That was a very good survey, but that's...
Yeah. So that's a proposal. And a seconder.
I'll second that then, go for it.
Okay, all in favour? Laura?
Is that all we're voting on, whether we agree with the survey?
Yes.
That's all we have to do at that point?
So are we accepting this survey as done by the policy group?
In favour?
Thank you. Item 161, to decide and discuss upon the response to the feedback survey from JPAG, that's the Joint Panel of Accountability and Guidance, via NELC, National Association of Local Councils, regarding their Joint Practitioner's Guide. The Practitioner's Guide is issued by JPAG to support the preparation by smaller authorities in England of statutory annual accounting and governance statements found in the annual governance accountability return. It's packed with.
I don't know what that means.
Right, I'll try and explain. So basically, there's been a set of guidelines to help small councils work out how to fill in their accounting form. So, sorry?
External.
External, thank you. So it's a real interest to Nicola, probably not to us. So there is a survey, another online survey, which needs filling in. Are we happy for Nicola to fill that in? Because
Yes.
I've looked at it and I can tell you it's very, very specific to
Those, so when the external audit returns arrive each year, they come with a pack. And that
They
pack,
come by email now, you have to download it.
okay. But in that pack, email pack, there's, they tell you what you're supposed to do with regards to filling in the form that you all see, the return that you all see, the statements that are ticked and plussed on that, the variances form, the income and expenditure, the state of the balances, and they want feedback on how that's presented to you.
And it is feedback on things like the layout of the guidelines and font use.
Yes.
Sounds really exciting.
Because it's, again, the stuff that they've been using for every year for a long time. I mean, it works.
Excuse me.
All the councils use it and present their accounts, don't they?
Do we have to agree, does councils have to agree to you to do the survey on that, when it's just something that comes through to you to do?
I'm doing it on behalf of the council.
Is it?
I can only act
Even
for the
though you're the
resolution of the
responsible
council.
financial officer and you do the audits?
Yeah, but this is not something that's in the financial regulations. So if it's in the financial regulations, it's something I can act on as responsible financial officer, and I can do it. But this is not. So in order to act, I need a resolution for the council. I need to do as I'm told.
Yeah, do it.
Just do it.
Okay, so who proposed?
I'll propose that.
Hands already seconded.
All those in favour? Okay, item 162. The Hilton Hall Committee would like to request permission for the PC, from the PC to hold this event on the 13th of July 2020 in the Marquee on the Green.
17.
17th, beg your pardon. 2020 on the Green. That's a proposal.
Second that.
All those in favour?
Can I vote or shall
I
I
don't know.
abstain?
You're on the ball.
All committee.
So was on the ball.
I wrote the email.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Really interesting.
it's not a...
So you're not going
Oh,
to
okay, I'll vote.
you're not going to financially benefit
No.
from the ball.
No, not at all.
Can I ask that a note goes back to the ball committee, that they ask us before they advertise the event next time? Just out of politeness.
Minor. Sorry, it should have gone in December's meeting, but it's like slight miscommunication there.
Sorry?
That has to be resolved.
What?
That you want a note to go back to the ball committee.
I propose that we put a
Well,
note.
can I just feed that back without, I will feed that back.
We've got
It's
to,
fine if you
It has
just...
to be minuted because it was discussed, wasn't
Well, I would like it to go back to 5 o'clock, so I'm proposing that. Would anybody?
I'll send them out.
Thank you.
it? It should be, yeah, because let's say we didn't like the ball anymore. I'm in favour of whatever it was. The proposal. It was agreed and it was fed back.
Proposal,
Yeah.
you say need a vote.
I'd already voted, hadn't I? Yeah.
Right.
So, sorry, what was the vote on that one?
I think
The note
that's
back to the
four.
ball committee?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
That's 4.
I seconded it.
Ian
Okay.
voted on it. I voted on it. You're abstaining on it.
Thanks, you watched.
Karen
Why we not to do this whole rigmarole? Whatever.
It's the rules.
Yeah, so
Okay. So this is quite a big issue, next one. Item 164.
no, we haven't
No,
done
163.
163.
Oh,
Yes.
oh yes, sorry.
This is not quite such a big issue.
Once it's put in the issue.
I'm a big junior on this
Yeah.
sort of thing. Right, okay. Item 163. Discuss and decide upon the request of the Easter Cross to be put on the green from Friday the 10th of April until Tuesday 14th of April. That's the proposal.
Yeah.
Seconder?
Oh, I second it.
She is. Yeah.
Okay. All those in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
It's all right, Ian's got a slow hand.
Okay, next item 164. So this is quite a big issue.
Yeah.
So-
Get on.
Well, hopefully it won't take too long to discuss, but basically, we've got our website.
Oh, it's the will to live reading this lot.
We've got our website, and it's now subject to new regulations, which is the YCAG 2.1,
Yeah.
which is basically to do with how the website's presented. Lots of information. Hopefully you've all read this, have you?
Yes. Got totally lost, but
I think it's, we have got a deadline. We've got to be compliant by September.
yeah.
Somebody needs to get their teeth into this. I would like to propose that this gets handed to the media group
yes.
and comes back as soon as possible with a proposal of how we deal with this.
Mm.
There is some information here about a company called Aubergine who can provide a service to help us through this. We'll find out more about what potential costs are.
Mm.
They can look at our website and give us some idea.
Yeah.
They say costs start from £700, but that's the starting point. So I wonder if we can leave it there. So this is going to be passed to the media group to report back as soon as possible.
Get it sorted.
Yes, I
That's a
do.
proposal. Can I have a seconder?
And seconded, choose first up. I'm
All
supporting
those in favour?
Yes.
I thought initially that Aubergine were going to run our website for us or something.
That's all.
No, it's just the
And
same.
the new
rubbish.
one, if we went with them, then they would run the new website.
But at some cost.
Just
I
put
would
so much
imagine.
effort into them.
Yeah, £400 a year, something like that. Yeah. And it's
Well,
not
there
cheap.
must
are
be
they?
somebody, you know, who could help us with this
Yeah, I think
free
there
of
is.
charge.
Oh, I doubt if there's anybody that do it free of charge.
No.
Any company that would do it free of charge.
No,
So, I mean, it's just been taken up out of our hands, really. So the current website was put together within our team, and it's been maintained as such. It's using an off-the-shelf template. But to do this, we've really got to potentially be looking at a different configuration.
Mm. Right.
Okay.
Yes, well done, media team.
Right,
Item-
choose Facebook.
Item 165, playgrounds. To discuss and decide upon the purchase of signs for the playground to comply with PSEN 1176 Part 7 regulations. So it came out when we had our safety inspection that our current sign does not comply. It needs more information on it.
I seem to remember this coming out back a year or more before we even started the playground with the previous playground that didn't have a signage because it was supposed to have a phone number in emergency. So it's not to do with the new playground, it's just about that phone number.
Yes.
Well, it's still the playground expenditure.
Oh yeah, but it's not to do with the budget.
Hasn't been budgeted into the playground, has it?
So we've never had it.
No.
Never been. I suppose it's never been known about. You don't often see these things in other
So it's just a sign which starts from 130 to 250 depending on the size. That's a metal sign. Alternatively, we can have one on its own frame and legs.
400. 400?
400 is it?
Yeah. And then the bin as well. So then there's a £40.95 sign. Children's play area.
That doesn't comply.
That doesn't apply, so that's...
It needs more words.
Yeah, so it needs that.
So we can use that as a design
Yeah.
guide, but we need to do...
So up to £400 then?
Yeah. So more than 100.
And a bin.
Let's do the business.
And where does this come from? This obviously came up again in the post-playground inspection. I think it had come up in the previous annual playground inspection report, and the council decided not to go ahead and get one. So I'm assuming, is this a legal requirement to get it, to sign it off?
Yeah,
You have to have
come
one.
under, I gave you the act at the top of the that document. Play area signage gives you the act at the top, so it's under the Occupiers Liability Act
Okay.
of 1957, which was revised in 1984.
So it's just we've previously been non-compliant and now
I
need to
don't
comply.
think it's come up in the Wicksteed reports on the playground in the past. It hasn't.
So we don't have a specific
That's
price.
interesting, when that liability act was like 1984.
I remember it coming, discussing it before we started the playground about the telephone numbers and stuff and thing on, but I don't know which report it was on, I don't know.
Given that we've got no choice but to get some kind of signage, is it a case of being further?
And do you, is it proposed that we have a sign like this West End Park junior play area?
Well, on the in the frame. But we have our own fence that we could hang it on, so we could put it
Yeah, I don't think we need a frame, do we?
on that.
Well, you're asking for a spend of up to £400 in case it didn't go on the mountings. The mountings it didn't
Well,
work.
I think I would prefer us to agree to spend up to 250.
Okay.
Because I think that will solve the problem.
Should do.
I'm happy to do the artwork, so we can even have our logo on it and the additional words based on that, on the red lettering, red box as well.
Would,
Oh,
like,
is that?
bear in mind it talks about the newest public telephone, Clerk's phone number, which I'm assuming you wouldn't put on because it's a private number.
Clark email address rather than something like that.
There's no public phone, where is there?
There is.
There's not one anywhere, is there?
No.
There's quite a lot we can't put on it. I'm just wondering if, due to the limitations, we'll have less on it, so it would be less expensive, less.
I think the cost is the thing in its
Yeah,
frame,
sure.
isn't it? And not the wording necessarily that's on it.
So we're going to do it without a frame, right? Is that what the 250 is?
No, it's not having it mounted. Sign only, size dependent. Sign only, size dependent, is that including the frame?
There's no frame on that, that's just a metal sign.
Oh, okay.
That is fixed to the fence. There you go. So proposal is spend up to 250.
Oh, we haven't a choice, have we?
Can I have a seconder?
Certainly.
All those in favour? Very much. Okay, next item, 165.2. To discuss and decide whether to purchase and install a litter bin at the playground.
Yes.
And Nicholas put some quotes together.
I understand the issue is that it won't be collected or emptied. That was why no one was put there previously. But I don't understand because we've still got a bag hung over the edge, so someone has to go and do that. So.
Who is doing
the reason why there wasn't one put there initially was because we didn't want people putting dog waste there. We wanted them to transport it to the far end.
You will get people putting dog waste in those sort of things.
I agree.
Because they look like a dog bin.
Yeah.
So unless we're applying to HDC for another bin, I think that's the way forward. So they do it on their bin collection now. I personally don't think that getting a different type of bin, that's going to fill up very quickly with poo bags. So being a dog walker, any red bin is, usually construed as, although there is a bin at the end, isn't there?
Yeah.
There is a bin by the telephone
There's
exchange.
an end by
That's right.
the Hill High Street.
So, but I do think it's probably worth applying to
Ask
HDC.
HGC first of all, see if they agree to install it and collect
Do we
it.
know if those black bins are actually provided by HDC? Or did we purchase them?
I think they are, there is like a standard bin, aren't they, that the local
One
villages
agree,
have.
but yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they would empty them if they weren't HDC bins. I mean, there'll be a cost probably for the bin, but...
I think there's another idea.
Yeah,
And then
it's a good
it's
idea.
outside the park. It's in that area, but it's outside the actual playground.
I mean, they stop and empty the one opposite, the cottage, so other
Yeah, no, I see.
telephone
I would say.
or power station.
Okay. Can I ask you to?
You're proposing
We're proposing that the clerk finds out whether we can add another collection point in that vicinity, HCC.
Specific.
Yeah.
Also, whether they provide the bin, and if not, how much would one cost? That's a proposal. Can I have a second there? No? Sharon? All those in favour? Lovely. Okay. Detecting we're losing the will to live here.
You're almost done. You're almost done.
Well,
Okay, item 166, to discuss and decide whether to send a representative to Cambridgeshire Local Council's peer learning and networking event on the Local Council Award Scheme organised by Cambridgeshire Acre on Tuesday, 31st of March. So, this is a scheme for giving awards to parish councils, depending on how good they are. This is a sort of promotional and information event. Do we want to send somebody? If so, who would that be?
I think that'd be a good idea.
I don't know how to get it.
No, I don't get it.
Go and find
Is
out.
it like
I'll see it to be a daytime thing and I work, so
Yeah,
sorry I can't.
1 to 3:30.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's 1 to 3:30. Okay.
Well, it's...
I've got the time.
Are you sure?
Yeah. What, is it Tuesday? Oh, no, sorry, I won't go. Yeah, indeed.
Does
Yeah.
anyone else want to know?
Do we all understand what it is?
No.
First.
I've had a bit of
Illuminators.
So this is basically the Quality Award Scheme, or under a new name. So there's 3 levels within this award scheme. So you're either awarded a foundation status, quality council status, or a quality gold status. And it is based on how you function as a council. Do you have the right policies and procedures in place? Do you have the right qualified staff to run the council? Do you, adhere to all the statutes? Is your accounting done correctly? So it's about the functions of the council, are they carried out correctly?
So is this event that awards event, or is it to find
No,
out
this is
about how
a learning event about how the awards scheme is implemented, how it's assessed, what you need to do to achieve each level.
Is there something you'd like to attend?
Maybe it's Ray would like to vote the chairman in. I think Ray would be interested.
No, yes, no?
I think we've got a volunteer.
Is it something that Graham would want to do though? Sorry,
It depends how he is, isn't it? I don't know how he is.
Okay, so
yeah, that's great.
if you're happy to do it, Nicola, I'll propose that you go and represent us, find out what you can.
I'll second that.
Report back.
Report back. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Okay. Item 167, payments received. FCC Communities in respect to the playground grant, £17,355. Interest, £15. FCC Communities in respect to the playground grant, £35,546. VAT reclaim, £12,841. That's all the money's in. Okay, it's quite a lot.
Yes.
Okay. We don't need to vote on it.
Just for information.
So, 168 approved payments, that's a list of payments, you've all had time to see that. I don't think there's anything on there which is unusual.
I was just going to ask about GSC services. I realise I'm just going to ask how John is. I have bumped into him once or twice. But, so is that work being undertaken by Duncan at the moment?
Do you want to respond to this here?
Right. Some of the work that John will be doing at this time of the year has already taken place. So, for example, some of the ditch clearance work was done actually in November, which was ahead of the usual period. It doesn't normally start until January. I did in fact call him to see him today. He is progressing.
Yeah.
The brace is now off his leg, and he is going to start physiotherapy next week because the brace has only just come off his leg. What he has noticed, and he's been able to now get out and walk without a walking stick. So he's been able to get into some of the slightly rougher parts and have a look. And he's looked at the ditches, and what he's sort of surmised is that when he starts to get more able, he's going to be doing a little bit of work on the ditches, not as much as he would do normally, but he anticipates doing that right at the very end of the winter season, so towards the end of March. And doing a little bit of work on the ditches there. So that's the situation that we've got. I mean, fortunately, when you do walk around the ditches at the moment, they do look in better condition than they have done in a lot of winters previously, so we are quite lucky. I think some of the high water levels have helped.
We've certainly got nice gravelly bottoms, haven't we?
We've got fantastic gravel bottoms, and that expression was used earlier on.
Was it?
I think Peter Sampson said that he cleared the drain up that end of the village. That was quite blocked.
Yeah.
Or the grid thing in
I know what it means.
the whatever.
Yeah.
I suppose this is probably going to sound awful, but do we pay John sick pay, or are we? Because he's a contractor, isn't he?
Not as a contractor.
So are we paying him even while he's off sick? Is what I mean.
Basically, we pay him an annual contract, and part of that is the directed hours. And what he's anticipating is that, having done some of his directed hours prior to his accident, he's hoping to do a few additional hours once he gets back again, to capture some of the work then. So that's what he's envisaging at the moment.
Because when did he have the accident? Was it December?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
I was just surprised to see that on for January and the January one, because I just presumed to be perhaps wouldn't be paying him if he's off sick because he's a contractor.
Yeah,
But it's paid on contract.
we pay him the same amount every month.
Yeah.
He works a lot more in the summer than he does in the winter.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so with a little bit of flexibility, I'm reading
Absolutely.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the big task this time of year is Indigenous.
Right.
And it sounds like he's already had that quite well in hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not sort of, just from an outside point of view, I was just thinking, if parishioners see that we've been paying him for January and then people know that he's obviously been injured, then...
Well, that's the explanation.
Right.
It's an annual contract, isn't it? That's paid on a monthly basis.
Yeah. It's done that way to give us an even cash flow, rather than us paying him 1,500 during the very...
Okay.
It's
Yeah. No,
done
that's
this
fine.
way too.
No.
That way.
Okay. I did just wonder whether we were paying Duncan, any separately to do the jobs that he would have been doing. Okay.
Oh, that's must have been.
That would be in the case of that London Bridge thing, yeah. On council business, council business.
So we would have to wear an armband again?
At a council meeting, if you're on council business. In the period of time. So in that protocol that you had about London Bridge, there is sets out the timescales, which you have the time period. But it's likely to be revised anyway from what Nick was saying.
So the condolence book.
Yes, but that would
Not
also then
necessarily
be
armband.
possibly the period in which you'd have to wear an armband if you're on parish council business would apply. We'd be asked to wear an armband.
Okay, is there any more? Shall I put it forward to approve? Okay, so motions to approve. Seconder?
I second the payments that are contained within this.
All those in favour? Okay, nearly there. Item 169, council's items, information only, no discussion, no decisions can be made. Usual protocol. When shall I start? Sharon?
Two things. Can Practitioner now have our opening parish council breakfast? It was in Spectrum. It's quite hard to... There was no kind of address with it, so...
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tell you,
No discussions.
sorry, I've been away.
Oh gosh, I've done blank on what the second thing was. Actually, come back to me and I can't remember what it was. All I was going to say was actually, I think maybe we could contact, because they've got a new parish clerk as well, this chap. Might be useful to contact him to see how we're setting that up, how they're setting that up. I just thought it was interesting for the future.
And to say hello.
Ian?
Just a couple of items, please. Can we put on the agenda for next month that we need to be in contact, I think, with Cambridge County Council, the path that leads from the end of the church lane to the church itself is starting to break up quite badly. And certainly for some of the older parishioners attending church, it's a bit of a hazard going on there. That's number one. The second item for including on the agenda is a request for March, is a request to purchase 2 silver birch trees for planting. If you go from here to the church, go over the brow halfway, we do currently have a crabapple that's been planted just immediately over the brow. We took 2 hornbeam down there, and the idea is to put 2 silver birch just beyond where that crabapple is. That was the plan when we took the 2 hornbeam down initially, so the request is that we purchase 2 silver birch. Plant there.
No discussion.
No.
Anne?
Yes, can we please contact, presumably the County Council and possibly HTC, about the potholes and road edges in some parts of the village? They're getting really quite dramatic, I would say.
All right.
I've got a couple of things. One is that I did report some potholes on the County Council website, which you can go on and do. They get back to you and let you know. One of them on Pottinger has already been filled. There's a couple on Church End that they say they've got 12-week response time too, so there's some there, but there is a link that you can go on and do that. Carrying on with the pothole theme, potholes in the village hall car park has been reported as an issue by some parishioners. I don't know if that's in our remit, it's quite close to land, or what the process is. We did talk some time ago about the bank holiday in May, the VE Day bank holiday, and I don't think we've continued any further discussions on that, so I don't know if we need to think about that at our next meeting. We are linking in with Ben Stanton in any way for that. And I don't know, this is just to mention the gate of the playground is, it's been reported to me that young children can actually get out of it themselves and leg it down the road. So there's no hook or anything on the top, so I don't know if that's anything we could look into in terms of the people that either fitted it or whether there's something we can add on to rectify that.
Thank you. Peter?
Okay. I've got a couple of comments I'll make. You may have noticed when Stanton Parish Council are opening an office for their PC. This obviously is in the plans for the pavilion for Hilton. Has been in, so when the refurb of Hilton's cricket pavilion goes ahead, there is space for an office, Parish Council Clerk office in the plans for that. Potholes through the village. Did you know you can go on to the County Council website? Any councillor can go onto the County Council website. Any parishioner can go onto the County Council website and report any potholes to County Council directly. The Parish Council car park adjacent to the village hall, I noticed the other day, had some potholes in it, and perhaps needs to go on for the agenda to have a look at the cost of rectifying that, because it was 4 years ago, I think, 5 years ago, that we undertook the last repairs, 6 years ago. A playground. I haven't been at the Parish Council for meetings for a while, as you may have noticed, and I'm glad to say I'm back. I just want to say I took my great niece to the playground the other Sunday, and she enjoyed it very much. It was lovely. There were a lot of people there, well, a lot of people, there were 5 children there running around, enjoying themselves, and I just wondered if the Parish Council needed to address the state of the flooring, which is uneven and quite muddy. Okay. Very uneven.
Anyone?
Oh, and no, that's fine.
Thank you. Just one thing for me that occurs, listening to your items. If you've got something you want to put on the Parish Council agenda for the next meeting, please write it down, send it to the clerk, and if you can, write text of what we're voting on. It just makes things a lot easier. Okay, that's it.
Oh, sorry, can I just have, the thing I forgot was, when we have, obviously, we have subgroups, and when we have a meeting, such as planning meeting, could we have a choice of dates rather than just a date decided? Because, you know, we are all voluntary, we're all giving up our time, and it's fine if we can agree a date with at least a week's notice. However, you know, we do have quite lots of us work full time, we have quite restrictive diaries, and I'm really upset I can't attend a meeting tomorrow evening, so I'd quite like that limited.
Okay. Any more? Call meeting to a close. Thank you very much.